right. So look, our next speaker, absolutely fantastic gentleman. Whenever I seem to get this gig a lot lately, right? And whenever I get it, I go up to the next speaker and I'm like, hey, is there anything you want me to say? And I get like, either I'll get, oh no, you can just wing it. Or I'll get like, I got to get a pen and I got to hire somebody to like take notes and stuff. Like it's one or the other. But when I did it for our next speaker, I said, well, what do you want me to say? And he goes, well, just tell everybody how handsome I am. The handsomest person in the car business, Terry Lancaster.
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate you. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Rockstar Auto Conference. Let's give Matt Koenig and Chris a hand for putting this deal together. Isn't this awesome? And a hand for the bikers outside. That was something last night. Thank you for everyone for that. So we got the bikers outside. We're in Vegas. What happens in Vegas? We all know that. And we're going to tell stories when we get back home. We're going to tell stories about our trip to Vegas. Who's going to start their story about their trip to Vegas with this? So I was out in Vegas eating a salad. Has anyone ever heard a story that started, I was out eating a salad? No, that's not the way stories start. It's not the way this story is going to start either. I was out drinking one night. So I was out drinking one night, and I'm going to tell you the exact date. October 1st, 2012. I remember this because it was my 48th birthday. Now, I don't look like an athlete, but I'm actually an athlete. I play old man ice hockey, usually against kids half my age, 2 nights a week. And normally, after you play old man ice hockey, you go drink beer because that's just the way it's done. And that's what we always did. So on my birthday, we go out and we start having a couple pops. And it's my birthday, and a beer or two turns into a beer or 9. And then everybody finds out it's Terry's birthday. And what happens then? Shots. The shots start rolling. Everybody's bringing shots in. I got Patron coming in. I got Fireball coming in. And the next thing I know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm in the dingiest, smokiest bar in Nashville, Tennessee, slightly coherent. My last remaining buddy from the hockey team, he's at the bar, and this is the truth. I couldn't make up this story if I wanted to. He's at the bar, and he's hitting on this woman who was probably fairly attractive in her former life, but she'd been smoking meth for about 3 years, and she did not look good. And they're doing this delicate closing call dance. He's trying to talk her into going outside and having sex without actually having to smoke meth with her. She's trying to talk him into going outside and smoking meth without actually having sex with him. I don't know who won the battle. But it's closing call. Closing time, they make the last call, and we used to have this game that we played. It was called Beat the Drunk Home. Last call, you get around, boom, you shotgun that thing, and you head out the door because you got about 5 minutes before that starts going into your body. And if you get home and good, you can get home, pass out right there. You never have to worry about the cops. Played this game my entire life. So we're running out the door. I shotgun my last beer. My buddy at the bar is yelling at me, T, man, let me drive you home. You're drunker than I've ever seen you. Let me drive you home. Now, he's drunker than I am. So I don't know what he thinks this is going to accomplish, but I made the same noise that every drunk in the history of the universe has made when someone says this. Do you know the noise? I got this. And I walk out the door, and I get in my car, and I drive home. At least I presume I drive home, because I honestly don't remember anything that happened after I left the building. For all I know, the aliens abducted me and drove me home that night. I do know this, the aliens can't park for shit either. Because the next morning, my car was half in the driveway, one wheel off, all crooked. The aliens decided that I needed to clean my pool when I got home, because when I got up the next morning for my hide and seek, looking for my keys and my cell phone and my wallet, couldn't find them anywhere. They were in a pool in the basement, in a wet pool with my blue jeans, where I'd cleaned the pool and got everything all sloppy wet, came in, stripped down, passed out on the couch. The only thing that I know for sure is I had the worst hangover I've ever had in my life. I had that railroad spike right here in the middle of your hangover, that Hank Williams Jr. hangovers hurt more than they used to hangover. And it was bad. And I started doing the same thing that I had done since I was 14 years old. It was time to have a little talk with Jesus. Oh, Lord. Dear, sweet, tiny baby Jesus. Oh, I promise, if you will make this hangover go away, if you'll let me live through this one, I promise I'll never drink again. No, I'm done. I'm through with drinking. I know I've been drinking my entire life, but I'm done with drinking. I'm not going to do it. Okay. Or maybe I'll drink, but I'm not going to do any more shots. It's just beer for me, and just beer and maybe even Coors Light. That doesn't even count. And as I'm having this conversation, I know it's a lie. It's a lie because I've had this conversation a million times before, and it's never stuck. Because I've been a drinking man my entire life. My grandfather was a drinking man. Being a drinking guy, a party guy, that was who I thought I was. That was who I thought I had to be. I actually, and I didn't think I had a problem. I didn't think I had a problem because I'd never had a DUI. I'd banged up a couple of cars, but never had done anything serious. And I'd drank away my college scholarship, but I still managed to graduate. But I didn't think I had a problem, and I thought I had things under control because I was lucky. And I confused being lucky with being responsible. But this day, for some reason, the conversation seemed different. And I went out that afternoon and I ran. I didn't run. I took a little while. There's no way I could run at that time. I couldn't run to the mailbox without stopping to catch my breath. So I went out with my hangover and I took a little walk. And I made the promise. I said, okay, I know I'm not going to stop drinking. There's no way I can quit drinking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause for 30 days. I'm going to call it Sober October. Sober October. And I went for 30 days without having a drink. And just assumed I would start drinking up again as soon as this was over. But I also started walking pretty much every day while Sober October was going on. And at the end of 30 days, I'd lost a couple of pounds and I felt pretty good. So I told my buddies, I'm going to do 30 more days. Do 30 more days without drinking. So I went another 30 days without drinking and lost another 15 pounds. And by the end of that 30 days, I had actually ran a mile for the first time in my life. Even when I was 15, 16 years old, I could not run a mile nonstop. But because I'd started a little bit at a time, in November of 2012, I ran a mile. And so I'm going to give it another 30 days. So I went another 30 days and went to the end of December. And we always had a hockey party with all my drinking buddies and my hockey buddies. And I decided I was going to save up my drinking until the hockey party. And I went to the hockey party that year, and I just didn't feel like drinking. So I didn't. I haven't had a drink in 6 years from that day. And I tell you this because the topic of my conversation today is, in order to become a better salesperson, you need to start becoming a better person. And as I was going through this, I've been drinking my whole life, and not drinking and not out, doing things I shouldn't be doing at 3 o'clock in the morning and making an irresponsible wreck of myself led me to a couple of conclusions, things that I didn't know before. This came as a big surprise to me. It ain't about you. And that's the first thing you need to know on the road to becoming a better person, is it ain't about you. And that's what a lot of us do, whether we're drinking or whether we're overeating or whether we're shooting 17 Monster Red Bulls a day, trying to keep things going, whether we're trying to sell 30 cars a month or 50 cars a month or 100 cars a month. We make it about us. We make it about the titles and the trophies and the prestige and the money, and everything is about us. But the truth is, it ain't about us. It's about them. It's about more people you can help. And the more people you can help, the more people you will attract, like Mac said. You can't take care of your people until you learn to take care of yourself. Now, I've had this conversation with sales managers before, and I said, listen, I know guys who will drink all night. They'll stay out till 3 in the morning. They'll drink all night. They'll come in. They'll eat two Big Mac burritos on the way to work, 2 McDonald's breakfast burritos, and they'll slam Monsters all day long, and they're selling machines. And they can be. till the exact moment that they're not. Your health is the biggest expense you're ever going to have. As an employer, your health insurance is going to be the biggest expense that you have. And if you're not taking care of yourself, and if you're not taking care of your people, you're going to run into problems. It's going to cost you money. But more importantly, as long as you've got that itch in your head, that you need to chase whatever demon it is that you're trying to catch up to. You think you're chasing the demon, but the demon's chasing you. Whether it's at the bottom of a bottle, or whether it's in a pack of cigarettes, or whether it's in a bottle of Red Bull, whatever you're chasing, as long as you're chasing it, you're not being able to connect with the people that you need to connect with and help them. Because when you're looking at them, you're looking at the prize. You're looking at the commission. I've got a buddy that I interviewed on my Get You Some podcast, Larry Levine, and he says your customers can smell your commission breath. And as long as you're chasing the commission so that you can get the toys and the trophies and the titles that you want, you're going to have the commission breath. And every interaction you have with your customer is going to be filtered through that. And that's what they're going to see when they see you talking. Becoming a better salesperson starts with becoming a better person. Frank Lopes gave you a gift earlier today. Frank Lopes gave you permission. Gave you permission to be who you want to be. Gave you permission to do what you want to do. I'm going to take your permission a little bit further. I'm going to give you permission to be exactly who you want to be, to do exactly what you want to do, to be the person you've always dreamed of becoming imperfectly. I want to give you permission to be imperfect. I had a conversation with the sales staff I was training the other day, and a guy called me, and he had created this video, did a great video. It was actually a customer testimony video. He got the customer on, and the customer was extremely ecstatic with what he had done. He had done a great job. She heaped praises on him. He got her financed when no one else could, and he sent the video to me, but he didn't want to put the video on YouTube or Facebook because he kind of flubbed up. You know, it was a 2-minute video. He messed up one line. He said, I like this video, but I don't think I should run it because I messed up I messed up this line. But you need to give yourself permission to be imperfect, because being perfect is an obstacle and an illusion. First of all, perfection does not exist in nature. Perfection is something hair care marketers invented to sell us more shampoo. The world is imperfect and people are imperfect. The more you allow yourself to be imperfect, to be human, the more you can actually connect with people. So give yourself permission to be imperfect. And if you're going to, instead of striving for perfection, seek to become better. Seek to become a better person. Seek to become a better salesperson. Seek to become a better parent. Seek to become a better employee. Seek to become a better employer. Now, as salespeople, and especially in the car business, we actually have one guy in the car business who gave himself this name. We all think we're alpha dogs. We're the top of the heap. We're A-game players. We're type A. We're balls to the wall. We're all out. We are a product of the decisions that we make. Who believes that? Who believes that you're a product of the decisions you make? I'm going to argue that each and every one of you are wrong. I don't believe that you're a product of the decisions that you make, because most of what you do throughout the day doesn't happen by conscious decision. Most of what you do throughout the day happens by habit. You are a product of the habits that you create. We all go through life 50% of the time. We're wandering around doing things on autopilot. We take the same exit that we take every day. We tie our shoes the same way every day because that's the way we've always tied them. When we're making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, we put the peanut butter on one side, the jelly on the other side, the same way we've always done it, because that's the way our mom did it. That's the way her mom did it. And that's the habit that we have. And you have the same habits when you're dealing with your customer. If a customer comes in and starts complaining or says the price is too high, your immediate reaction is the same action that you've always had, because that's your habit. So I want you to start becoming aware of the habits that you have and the immediate responses that you have and the actions that you take without ever making a conscious decision to take those actions. And if you can change your habits, you can change your life. whatever the habits are. And now I'm going to give you a powerful tool for changing or creating any habit that you wish to create. And the habit comes from the strangest, this tool of all sources, to be speaking at a Rockstar Auto Conference. This instruction comes from Jerry Seinfeld. Has anyone ever heard of the Jerry Seinfeld technique? Yeah, no? Yeah. So Jerry Seinfeld, prolific writer, he's been a huge comedian, for years and years and years. And when he was doing stand-up, he always had new material, nothing spectacular, but every day he would come in with doing his little stand-up in the stand-up bars. And every day he would have some new observation about life. And one of the younger comedians asked him one day, Jerry, man, how do you always come up with new stuff? Sometimes I just don't feel like writing new stuff. And Jerry said, well, I've got a very simple technique that will help you get in the habit of writing new material. It can help you get in the habit of making 10 or 50 outbound phone calls a day. It will help you get in the habit of creating 1 or 2 or 5 new how-to videos every day. Whatever habit that you need to create, start doing this. Jerry had he had one of those year at a glance calendars, the month at a glance calendars, where you got the whole month on there. And he would walk in and he would sit down, and every day that he wrote a joke, he would put a big red X on that day. Wrote a joke, boom, X. He'd done for the day, easy peasy. He'd come in the next day. He'd write a joke, X, boom, done, easy peasy. And once you get where you've got 2 or 3 or 4 or 7 or 14 days in a row where you've written a joke every day, or you've called 50 potential customers every day, or you've created one new video every day for 10, 15, 20, 35 days in a row, you'll do almost anything to not break the streak. When I quit drinking, I decided that I needed to exercise. And I started walking. The walk turned into a run. The run turned into a full mile. And then I ran a 3K. But I decided I wanted to make it a habit to run every day. So shortly after I stopped drinking, I started running every day. Yesterday, before I left Nashville, Tennessee, I ran for my 1,417th day in a row. Every day, I run 1 mile. Rain or shine, hell or high water. I've ran in 110 degrees. I've ran in 10 degrees. I've run in sleet storms. I run in rain. Try not to run in lightning, but sometimes the lightning starts when I get about half a mile out, and that's when I get my best times in, because I'm in a hurry to get my fat butt home. Every single day, do what you need to do. And after I got to like 400 or 500 days, I started thinking, man, I got this wired. Look at this, 400 or 500 days in a row. Man, I'm something. And I went and I checked, and there's an entire group of people who run a mile every day. And oddly enough, it's called the Mile a Day Club. They run a mile every day. The guy who owns the record has run every day for 49 years in a row. He started running in his 20s. He's now 70-something years old. He runs 1 mile every day. And he says it's just ridiculous what he will do to not break the streak. He had knee surgery. He was having knee surgery one day. So he got up and ran at 3 in the morning before his knee surgery. Went and had surgery. Got released from the hospital the day after surgery and went home and ran at midnight the next night to get, 36 hours between there. He ran on the deck of a cruise ship in a hurricane. So he would not break the streak. But he created a habit, and it stuck with him. And you can create whatever habit you want to, one lick at a time. The habit I want you to start thinking about the most is the habit of connection. Matt was talking about attracting people, and we're all, there's so many sales trainers. There's a million sales trainers that will tell you exactly what to say when a customer walks in the door. They'll tell you exactly what to say when you have such and such objection. They'll tell you exactly what to say when they're looking for this and that payment. But what the customer is looking for is they're looking for a connection. 97% of all customers would prefer to know who they're dealing with before they ever step foot in the dealership. 97%. The NADA says that 71% of customers buy because they found a salesperson that they liked. So instead of thinking about the 2-week period around when they're buying a car, start thinking about the year before your customers are shopping and the year after your customers are shopping, when 90% of them can't remember the name of the salesperson they bought from, and start forming these connections. That's the Human beings are a social tribe, and we have social media, and there's so many people doing the lives and everything that are to get their name out there and to sell stuff. But if you're using social media primarily to sell stuff to strangers, you need to look up the word social, because social is about forming a connection and forming a relationship. It's forming that relationship so that they can know, like, and trust you when they come in. We've all heard, you've heard of Jim Rome. Jim Rome's got the saying that you are the average of the 5 people that you hang out with the most. Have you heard this? I heard this. And most people think that gives us permission to come to events like this, to hang out with high performers, to up our game. I heard this at the time when I was at the low point in my life, when I was not being the person I needed to be, and I desperately needed to up my game. And what I heard was, I'm the average of the 5 people that I hang out with, but the 5 people that I hang out with and know, like, and love the most are an average of me. They're a reflection in part of me, my children, my wife, my coworkers. And I need to be a better person to help make them be better. The quickest way to form a connection, not on social media, but in person, is being present. Not being on your phone, not being miles away, not worrying about your commission, but being present, talking to the person that's right in front of you. I interviewed Ali Rita. You heard the name, right? Anybody? Ali Rita sold 1,530 cars last year. He told me there's no human being anywhere in the world more important than the human being in front of you right now. If you can commit your presence, your emotion, your time, and 100% of your energy, not to your phone, not to your commission, not to your titles and trophies and toys that you're looking for, but commit your energy and your presence and your eye contact and your touch and your helpfulness to the person right in front of you, you're going to make that 5-minute friend. You're going to form a connection, and you're going to form a relationship that will lead you to becoming a better salesperson. And the last thing is the power of gratitude. The mind is like a dirt road, and the road you drive is the road that you're going to be on. And if you're at work every day and you're complaining about your customers, and you're complaining about your boss, and you're complaining about the manufacturer, and you complain about everything, then that's the rut your wheels are going to drive. It's called confirmation bias. The more you complain, the more you're going to see. But if you will take a couple of minutes every day to become grateful, to become thankful for all the amazing things that are in your life, then those are the things that you're going to see. You've heard of the secret and the law of attraction, going back to Matt's attraction speech. The real law of attraction is what you think of is what you notice. So the more you think of the amazing things that you have in the life, the more you're going to notice those things. The more happier you're going to become, and happy salespeople have happy customers. So everyone, do me a favor. Everybody stand up for me. So you have happy customers, and be sure to thank them. This is the second largest purchase that they're going to make in their life. Send them a thank you card. Call them and thank them. Shower them with gratitude so that they don't forget your name a year after you purchase, so that they know that they have a connection and a relationship with you. I want everyone to raise both. This is a universal symbol. Children who have been blind from birth, when they accomplish a victory, when something wonderful happens in their life, everyone raises their hands above their head. The symbol is called joy. And this becomes parts of forming a habit. Keep them up there. Keep them up there. This becomes part of a habit because you're up like this, and this is firing neurons in your brain. It's a signal to your brain that something good is going on. It releases serotonin in your brain, and this is the same drug, the same little chemical that you get in your brain when you bite into a donut or do a shot of heroin. And it's your signal to your brain that this is something good, and your brain goes, "This is good. I like this. I want some more of that." And that's how you create that habit. You let your brain know you want some more of that, and it goes looking for it to find it for you. So I want you to think of something that you are grateful for right now. If you're grateful for the opportunity to be in Las Vegas learning from some of these amazing people who are going to tell you how to increase your business, say yes. If you're grateful to work in an industry that every single person you ever meet is a prospect, say yes. If you're grateful to work in an industry that allows people to spend 30% of their income, the second largest decision that they're going to make, that lets you lead the lifestyle and support your family the way you can, say yes. Say yes, and if you really believe this, think about it hard and repeat the magic words after me. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Thanks, guys.